How are we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So yesterday we took a little bit of a look at one of the first builds for Dragonflight. We focused in on jewel crafting, and we looked at what is it going to take to become the best gem cutter in jewel crafting. And no surprises, there was lots of comments and lots of feedback on that video of, well, what other builds can there be? Can we focus on some other professions? And the answer is most definitely yes. It's going to take me a bit of time to work through a bunch of them, as it takes me personally quite a lot of time to test all of this sorts of stuff. But once I've figured it out, I'm more than happy to bring it to you guys. So today we're going to continue. The trend, and we're going to take another look at jewel crafting, but we're going to look at jewel crafting from a slightly different direction. If you're not crafting the gems for everybody to socket in your gear, what is the other path that most jewel crafters would like to take? Well, it's of course making the rings and necklaces, making all the jewelry. Let's jump in game and let's take a little bit of a look at what it would look like to be the best jewelry crafter come Dragonflight. This one's going to be a little bit more complex. It's going to require a lot more of a time investment, but it is going to probably have the biggest payoff if you get this right, especially if you happen to be on a server with a lot of end game players that may be looking to get those top quality rings and necklaces crafted through the work order system. Now, to start off with then, let's take a little look at some things regarding jewel crafting. The UI is still scuffed. I apologise for that. I will walk you through it in as much detail as I can. This build, though, this little spec, if you plan on going this direction with jewel crafting, there is a considerably heavier reliance on you having full skill with jewel crafting. You'll be able to get roughly 50 skill points out of the 100 just by leveling up with some trainer recipes, but those final 50 skill points you are going to have to grind to go and get. It's going to require you to fulfill work orders, but this build is going to take you quite a lot of time to put together anyway, as it has a much higher reliance on knowledge points. So there's going to be, you know, plenty of time. It may sound like a bit of an information overload today, but as you're progressing through this day by day, you can chip away at it until ultimately you end up being able to craft that best gear. So firstly, you really do want to make sure that you're focusing on getting your profession skill up to speed. Secondly, your profession gear and your profession tools are also super duper important. This is a build where we are really trying to min-max skill as much as we possibly can. And it's these little bits of equipment that are going to give you those advantages. Your profession tool, which is made by engineers, this can give you plus 10 jewel crafting skill, and both of your accessories, one which the resplendent covers made by leatherworkers is going to give you plus 6 skill, and the Alexstrasite Lupez is also going to give you plus 6 skill, and as a jewel crafter you get to make this one yourself. So it's going to be super crucial you get your hands on these as quickly as you can. These in and of themselves are not cheap. These require a lot of materials. They require a lot of artisan's metal. You're likely going to have to wait some period of time for the expertise of other players to be able to make these for you. But don't worry too much about quality on these. It's more of an importance to just get the item in the first place. But let's say you've covered some of the ground rules. Where do we go from here? Well, let's take a little bit of a look at the spec tree then, because there is a very specific path that I suggest you take with this so that you unlock certain features quickly and efficiently. Let me just refer to my notes ever so quickly to make sure I get this right. I will make sure that up in the side I put like some nice text so it showcases the step-by-step if you want to follow along and do this. For reference as well, I should also say that all of this information plus more is available in my Dragonflight Goldmaking cheat sheet. This is still a work in progress document. Lots of people liked my my Shadowlands cheat sheet to help them with legendaries. This is a similar system that I'm putting together going forward into Dragonflight. This little build is in the jewel crafting section, along with some of the other spec builds, and as time goes on I will fill the sheet out with more spec builds for the different professions as well. This is currently, as Dragonflight is not actually even live yet, it's a thing that I've got put it out there for early access to the supporters of the channel. So if you're a patron of mine, a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber, you can jump in the Discord and have a little read of that yourself, or follow along with the videos, your choice. Right, we start off with the settings. This is going to be the one where we're going to put most of our points in. You can actually kind of see the finished build here, but you want to start off only putting 10 points in settings. Settings is, you need to put 10 points in here to start with to unlock the next sub-spec, which is going to be jewelry. You probably want to put 30 points in this straight away. Putting 30 points in jewelry straight away is going to give you the option to then choose whether you want to focus on rings or necks. Another thing you are going to have to do is choose. You can't instantly be the master of both of these. So if you pick rings, hopefully other people on your realm or other guild members will pick necklaces, and you will, be able to help each other out along the way. If everybody goes rings, rings will be bad. If everybody goes necks, necks will be bad. So, let's hope that people just sort of, go 50-50 with this. But pick a direction. Pick rings or pick necks. And I would sort of suggest that you put 30 points in jewelry before you start putting many points in either rings or necks. You only need to unlock access to this node to get the recipe. So that's the crucial thing for us here, really, is to just get the recipe. But putting points in jewelry to begin with, there's a couple of key nodes along the way. After, like 5, 10, at 15 points in, you get the ability to use missives. This is going to give us a lot more customization when it comes to fulfilling those work orders. Without doubt, if people are putting in a work order for a specialist piece of gear to be crafted, they are more than likely going to want very specific secondary stats on it. So unlocking the ability to use missives first is really crucial. Further on down the lines, though, you also get the ability to put the empowerment items on it. This is what your mythic and heroic raiders are going to come across, and they're going to be very keen in getting higher item level versions of these rings and necklaces crafted. So you want to get here quite quickly as well to give you the best option to supply the people's needs. Once we've put 30 points in there, we'll have spent a total of 40 points. Then you probably want to max out either rings or necks. We're putting all the points to begin with. We're putting nearly all of our points into settings. We're not spreading our points out anywhere else. We're really laser focusing on getting as many points and as many skill points in crafting these as possible. By the time you've got 10 points in settings, 30 points in both jewelry and 30 points in either rings or necklaces, you'll have spent 70 points, and it'll be at this moment you should hopefully be able to craft the basic ring or necklace at maximum quality. After 70 points is going to be where it really kicks in, and you're going to be able to make those quality 5 items. If we take a little bit of a look at the 2 items that you may be crafting, the Talk of Past Time, if you go the necklace route, or the Signet of Titanic Insight, both of these have recipe difficulties of 280. After spending that 70 points, as long as you put it in the exact places that I suggested, you should be able to make quality 5 versions of these, so item level 399, and fulfill work orders all day long on these. You will have the ability to take work orders that use optional reagents as well, but with a slight downside is that at this point in time, we will not probably have enough skill to guarantee quality 5 if people are requesting optional reagents on these. The big item level upgrade ones, they're going to cost, they're going to have a additional plus 30 or even plus 50 difficulty to craft. So the more optional reagents somebody puts on the order, the harder it's going to be for you as a crafter to guarantee that top quality craft. We're going to have to work towards it. We're going to have to get there. But we should, on a very basic order, with no requirements of optional reagents, be able to craft item level 399 rings or necks after only spending 70 points, which is good. Where do we go from here then? This is where I would probably sort of suggest that we actually switch to a different spec tree. We now move over to the Jeweler's Toolset Mastery, and we throw 30 points in here. This is one of the most optimal nodes in the entire of the jewel crafting profession, because not only does it give you one skill for every single point you put in it, there's also some bonus nodes along the way. You get plus 3, plus 4, and plus 3. So after you've spent 30 points in here, you actually gain a total of 40 points. So it's really, really efficient use of your knowledge points, especially at the beginning of an expansion when knowledge is going to be your bottleneck. There's going to be a limited amount of knowledge that you can acquire per week, and you're really going to want to maximize the amount that you can get from every single one that you spend. I do plan closer to the launch of Dragonflight to put together like a compilation of exactly how many knowledge points you can get, where they all come from. So make sure you've hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and stay tuned for that one. But with 30 points in here, we'll be up to 100 knowledge points spent so far, and we should now pretty reliably be able to bang out, you know, heroic or maybe even mythic quality ones at like quality 4 or 5. You should have absolutely no problem filling work orders at this point, and that's where you can then maybe dedicate a few points to the one you didn't choose to start with. If you chose necklaces, now you can put your points in rings, and if you chose rings, obviously vice versa. So this entire setup is going to set you back, what did I calculate it to be? Excuse me, 150 knowledge. 150 knowledge is the grand total, but that should put you in a position to be like the very best at crafting rings and necklaces on your server. There is, now assuming this goes live in the same fashion, there is a couple of bonus rings and necklaces that you can get your hands on as a jewel crafter that you don't learn through either the trainer or the spec tree. These are, where have they gone? The Elemental Lariat and the Choke of Shielding, and the ring-bound hourglass. There's a few bonus ones that are out there. These have an even higher difficulty, but they do come with like some special bonuses, so keep your eyes out for work order opportunities on those as well. But by this point, we should have a skill that's significantly high enough to be able to even make these at sort of quality 4, if not quality 5. The last thing I should note is that these speciality items may need you to use one of the finishing reagents. If we look, one of the finishing reagents is called Illustrious Insight. This gives you a plus 30 skill bonus. So if you are struggling to get that plus 4 item, you know, if you're struggling to make it quality 5 to really maximize the crafts, you may need to look at using one of these when crafting. But be aware, if you do need to use one of this, it's going to dramatically bump up the price you should be charging for that craft. Simply because these things are not cheap. These things cost 50 artisan's metal each. 50 artisan's metal, which is a very limited item. You'll have noticed through leveling up, you'll be getting 5 artisan's metal every time you gain a knowledge point. So there's a good chance that you'll have picked up a bunch of artisan's metal. But let's not forget that your profession gear also absorbs a huge amount of that. 200 to 300 artisan's metals needed for each one of these items. So you're gonna have this as quite a rare item. You're gonna need to charge a pretty penny if you're going to be crafting using this. Don't let those mythic raiders run away charging you basically nothing for your time and effort. This is going to be quite a complex process, especially if you want to be the first person on your server to be able to achieve this. And in turn, along with that, that level of, you know, speciality should come with a reasonable paycheck for you as the crafter. But I'll leave it there for today then, boys and girls. That will be how to absolutely master the ring and the neck market for jewel crafting come Dragonflight. Leave your comments down below. I know we've been talking a lot about jewel crafting in the last couple of days, but I'm starting to see a few professions that seem to be more in the interest of, you know, you lot. So let me know in the comments down below what profession you'd like to see next. If you haven't already, hit the like button. It really does help the channel grow, and consider subscribing to stay tuned for more content in the future. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. I've been Manthieus, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.